Okay, that's the book there, flipping it over. As you can see, the sides, I put it together with some zip ties and I just sort of pasted in all the photos. A couple of blank pages. Yeah. So this is the first version that I made. There was pretty much, I spent a day sequencing all the photos and choosing all the photos, and then I just sort of wanted to put it together as quick as possible. I just used paper from a printer, and then I didn't have any binding, so I used some zip ties. This is a pretty early sequence though, because I did, like between this and the next one, I think I spent about 6 months thinking about it. Yeah, I didn't have the title yet, I didn't know what it was going to be called. I did love that it was like the middle page was two reflections looking at each other. I thought that was nice. Yeah, this section is nice. I wanted the book always to be like from right to left, because that's what sort of Japanese books are, and like comic books and stuff like that. So I decided to do that. It was really confusing, and still is kind of confusing when you look at the book, because it feels, you don't really know where the front is, but you know, you get through it. This book had this last image in there, which I decided looked a bit cheesy because of the snowboard. It's not in there anymore, and it doesn't have any of the writing, which you'll see later. So after that one, I wanted to have a play around with cover colors, and so I made the cover blue. I got some new binding things there, and I also put a back image on there, which was an image that I think when I took it, I didn't think anything of it, but after a while, I realized it was really nice. There's a little thank you page on the front. Yeah, it's just one of those photos that I just kept thinking about after I took it, and it sort of became my favorite photo from the whole project, which I thought I didn't expect. I thought it was nice though. This photo's, that was a Willem photo, just flying past there. That was copying Willem Verbeek. This is one of the seminal, or was seminal? I don't know. One of the best photos. That black one before really describes the emotions and the storyline that I tried to put in the project. There's the little title there. And again, in the middle, I have these different bindings, but you can see they look pretty nice. This sort of section after the middle is sort of, to me, I put it together and it's felt like sort of a dangerous sequence. Like there's this car crash scene there, and then there's sort of like the aftermath. And then you're sort of getting back to reality and just sort of exploring this place. That pink house, I find, is sort of the climax of the book. Beautiful last shot there. That's one of the ones I got when I snowboarded down a mountain. This little passage here, pause it if you want to read it. It's the initial passage that I put at the end of the book. In arrangements, I put a long passage about my life at the end, and I sort of wanted to do the same thing here. But this one was about a relationship that I was in that ended pretty bad, and I just sort of wanted to get it out of my brain and onto some paper, into some work. This one, I like this one because this was like when I got all this new paper. I got this crazy newspaper from Officeworks, and that see-through paper, as you can see. And I love it because it's really floppy. It felt perfect for what I wanted. I sort of, in the end, it strayed away from this feeling, which I kind of regret. I think if I were to make another version, I'd just print the photos straight onto the pages, but here you get a look at sort of, I just put this together to feel it, to feel what it felt like in my hands, but I also thought about the sequence a little bit, made a few changes from this, but I also titled all the books, all the photos, gave them all a title. And that was fun, but it also, it was like a nice, sort of making a caption for every single one, but sometimes I like to see, if it's a photo, it's like a really simple title, but I don't like it when it just exactly describes what's going on. I like the words to sort of be more general when relating to the photo. I don't want to say like, like Harry's Harry's shoes on the bench, on his bench. Like, it's like, I want to say maybe it's something a little bit more abstract with the title. When I made this, I realized because the book is called Reflections, the second half could be on the other side. I thought that would be pretty nice because, like, you start on the left and then it reflects over to the right. I guess talking about reflections, I should explain why it's called Reflections. Initially, I don't really know what it was initially called. I don't think I had a name for it, but when I decided to put this passage about my ex-girlfriend at the back, I realized that what I had written, it was something that I had wrote when we broke up, and what I had written, I realized it was just a really big reflection on myself. I was writing about her, but everything that I say and everything I experienced is, that's my brain thinking that. It's my story, and it all just reflects on my state of mind and the way that I am. Here we go. I tried to print out the text in this one. Obviously didn't have enough paper to do this, but put the text and then I put the orientation of the photos just to see what that would feel like. That was on purpose. Again, put the names in there. I think this is where I finalized the sequence with this one. You can see there should be a photo of my dad here. There he is. I think in the last one I decided to put that in. Sometimes when you're making mock-ups, you fuck it up. I like the way that this one feels, but it sort of feels like a hybrid between... Oh yeah, there's we flipped over to the right side. So this one feels sort of like a hybrid between that very first one that I made and the really floppy one. See, it's because it's got that paper from the first one, but it's got that see-through effect from that new paper that I bought. And that see-through effect I really love because it's sort of an unorthodox zine cover, and it feels like maybe there is some snow over the top of the book, and as you can see on the final version, it's a really strong. I think it's a great effect when you see a photo underneath that. There's my reflection there. You'll find out. You'll see what that is later. You will, it's a really nice sort of effect to see something that's sort of dull and to open up that first page and see it in a crisper way. So here's the final book. It's pretty thick because I did what I did with the first version where I cut out all the photos and pasted them in, but I used this thick photo paper, which I just shouldn't have done. There's some brown staples as well. I thought they were cool. Fit the color of the paper as well. And there you go. See that effect? It's so nice. It's so nice. And it really invites you in. It gives you something to do when you see the book, which just sort of sucks you in and makes you read it. There's the thank yous again. I've been using this font, Authentic Sans, which I love. It's just a nice font. Feels like me. Something that I've noticed happening with this is see how there's a black mark on the right side of all the photos? It's because I don't know, I kind of greened it with the printing of this one. I printed it as a fine art print, and you're not supposed to touch those, I guess, so when it's in a book like this, I love that photo. When it's in a book like this, it doesn't work. You don't print fine art matte prints if you're gonna put it in a book, because it's a bad idea. This will happen. Although, I do like the way that it sort of feels like when there's dirty snow in the area. Love that photo of my dad as well. And so I guess I should also explain the sequence. The sequence of the book is sort of about my life and about it's sort of about the journey that I had been on in the previous few years. So I'd been chilling, hanging out, being myself, living my life, and then I met this girl, and we were dating for a little while, and it sort of it was a very bad relationship, and it sort of changed my world in a lot of ways, in a lot of bad ways. And I got a little bit depressed and a little bit sad for a long time. But you know, time passes, everything's okay now. But while I was making these photos, I had just started dating my current girlfriend, a little bit of a spot. So I liked the contrast of sort of photos that I made alone when I had just started dating someone who I knew I really, really liked, and we were gonna, like, I knew that relationship was good, and to contrast that with a story of a really terrible time, I thought was really nice. Here's the passage there. If you want to pause it, you can give it a read, and then the photo of myself at the end. As the book is called Reflections, I thought it would be nice to put a photo of myself right at the end, reflecting on my reflections. And you might notice that that was the photo from the cover in the beginning. I loved that photo, but over time, looking at so much, it wasn't the cover. It didn't need to be the cover. That other one really, really, really needed to be the cover. And it's because it's the best photo, and it's because it describes the whole work. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you for watching that video. Pretty proud of that scene, happy with how it turned out, and happy to be able to show people it in Twitter. Okay, so that's Reflections. Hope you enjoyed that video. I am actually currently working on a new book, which is going to be a proper book to be released one day. And I can tell you the name of that book right now,